Good morrow, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Gem and the Holograms? It is that time again. Can we talk about Gem and the Holograms? The CWTAJ coming your way again. And this is lucky number episode 7. Do you feel lucky, Kristen?
Do I, punk?
Well, you know what? I think this is, it's lucky for us, but it's not going to be very lucky for the Gem crew. But,
no, absolutely not. This episode's a doozy.
This episode's a doozy. I am the pocket aces of this conversation. I am Joe.
I'm the fat stacks of cash. I'm Kristen.
All right, yeah, that's lucky getting those fat stacks of cash, and we're here we're here to take your hand. We are gonna guide you through this technicolored vomit dream, terrible 80s air quotes classic Gem and the Holograms. Now, yeah, like I said, this is part 2 of a 3-part thing. So I don't know if you're starting with this one. Go back and watch the first one. Otherwise, you're gonna get spoiled. Spoilers. Blind Orphan. Blind Orphan.
Oh no! Well, we've been spoiling Blind Orphan since like the very first episode of this podcast.
Ah, very true. I was gonna say Pizzazz is rich, but we also spoiled that as well.
Oh, we're just ruining everything. Did you know that Jerica and Gem are the same person? Hot damn! Like, let's get it all out there
all
at
right.
this point.
Okay, let's just lay it on the table. Did you know that Kimber is Gem's sister? Oh, Jerica's sister.
Wait,
not
who?
Gem's sister.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot of fun. I made sure to put a note down about Kimber in this episode, which I'm sure would make Kimber really happy if she were a real person.
These gags. They're never gonna stop, so I hope you guys are used to.
We are experiencing Gem and the Holograms through Shout Factory's Gem and the Holograms Truly Outrageous Complete Box Complete Elite Edition Series Edition. And you could also catch the show on Netflix if you like watching along. If you're not watching along, you're probably in the same boat as the people who are watching along, actually, because we make a lot of references to stuff that hasn't happened yet.
We've come to discover that some people are just like not really interested in watching Gem and just sort of want to listen to us describe Gem.
Which I'm fine with, because I've definitely done that for other podcasts, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job anyway.
But, yeah, so here's what you missed in the first episode, just in case you are coming in. Holograms are in a movie, okay? You with me so far? So are the Misfits.
Uh-huh.
They're the bad guys. So is Eric Raymond. He's the director. He's a really bad guy. And Pizzazz is really rich, which is, like I said, spoiler. And, things should really just be going back to normal because they quit this movie because the bad guys were working on it. And, but uh-oh, Blind Orphan needs a surgery. No, you sugarcoating it. We're going to learn about that surgery right now after we play the theme song. Are you ready, Kristen?
I feel like that was almost a purposefully bad recap.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure, because I was like, I'm reading these words and I'm like, that don't make too much sense.
Doesn't need to. Here we go, theme song.
Theme song.
Me and my friends are Gem girls. Gem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion and fame. Once you're a Gem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Gem girl. Gem is my name. Me and my friends are Gem girls. Gem is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Gem girl. Glamour, fashion and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion and fame. Once you're a Gem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Gem girl. Gem is my name. Gem.
So we begin with a recap, which does a much better job than me of recapping what happened. Do you want to know my favorite part of the recap, Kristen?
What's your favorite part?
When they mention Clash as a character, she does her like arm symbol thing, so there's the symbol Crash over her name. She says it, so it's very
I didn't notice that.
Very indicative that it's Clash.
I appreciated that despite all of the new characters that were introduced in the last episode, they only really mentioned Video and Clash, and that's how you know that they have staying power.
That they're the important ones and not Nick and Stuntman Jeff.
Yeah, which is too bad, because Jeff does come back, so I don't know if they expected him to come back at this point.
Oh, maybe he was really popular with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because we learned a lot about Jeff in this episode, and he really loves safety. Almost as much as he loves Kimber.
Don't play with knives.
Don't
or
play
Kimber.
with knives. Don't play with Kimber. Yeah, why would you?
Oh, bad things will happen. A man in a jacket that says zipper will come out of nowhere while she's holding something that's on fire.
Or leave her in a volcano.
Or leave her in a volcano. She's a hazard. A health hazard.
Speaking of Kimber, was she the one recapping? Did we get the other thing where it's Kimber's voice actress, but not really putting on the Kimber voice?
I am upset that we have started noticing when it's not Jerica doing the recap, because when I can't, like, the Jerica voice I can place, everyone else's voice in, like, without context or visuals, I cannot place it at all. So now this is just getting increasingly upsetting.
So we'll
To
just
me.
we'll just ignore it from now on. It's just going to be somebody does a recap, basically.
Unless it's very strange.
Right.
And
Although-
you bet your bottom the first time it's Jerica again, I'm gonna go, it was Jerica this time.
Right. No, that
I
time
can
we'll
tell.
know. Also, we're probably going to not have too many episodes where there will be recaps after this.
Yeah. We're losing the storyline slowly but surely.
But we start back in the office with Dr. I-Man and Jerica telling that Ba Nee needs this this experimental surgery, basically, if she wants to fix her fucked eyes.
Yeah, Jerica is sitting in the examination chair, which it's not a lounge chair. Like, come on.
Yeah, he really should have been like, that's for patients. Come on, get up.
Yeah, stand up. You're an adult. But yeah, Jerica's trying to figure out, oh, well, what can we do about it? And he's like, well, there's, an experimental laser eye surgery. And at the word experimental, Jerica's like, oh, hot damn, let's shoot some lasers in this orphan's eyes without her consent.
Yeah, her eyes. Well, one, I feel weird because Jerica hears the word experimental and it's like, this is going to work 100% in her mind or something, because she's she's really gung-ho about giving this laser surgery to this orphan.
Yeah, like when you hear the word experimental when it comes to medical procedures, I think it's usually supposed to be like, oh, we have an experimental eye surgery. It will either cure your eye or burn a hole through your skull.
Or kill you, basically.
Well, I imagine that would also kill you.
Yeah, there's brain in the way that would probably get in the way of a laser, so yeah, you'd probably die.
And it turns out, even better, this experimental surgery that Jerica is certain is worth a shot is going to be $250,000.
Yeah, $250K, to which I have the note, Jesus Christ, let her be blind.
I wonder how much that is in 80s money.
Probably like $1 billion.
Oh, it's way too much. See, like, I look at that today and I'm like, that's like only slightly more than the amount of debt that I'm going to be in after college.
Yeah, that's pocket change, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I'll be fine.
Experimental eye surgery, fuck it, whatever.
Fix that orphan's eyes. And at some point, Ba Nee is like, am I going to be okay? And Jerica has false hope and unfulfillable promises for her.
Yeah, she's fueling this orphan, giving her hope, when she really shouldn't.
She's not a doctor. Like, she can comfort her, but she is saying, like, of course everything will be fine.
Yeah, when, I don't know, I think she should be like, we're gonna do our best, is probably what she should say.
Hug that little girl and say, we'll figure it out. Not, we'll definitely make your eyes work.
So they go back to Starlight Manor at this point, and, Jerica informs the rest of the holograms of Ba Nee's situation, and I really enjoy how Kimber, at the revelation of all this money, has to insert her catchphrase into this by saying, that's an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah, I have on my note here, Kimber using the descriptor outrageous in this situation when you usually do it cheerfully is a little insensitive.
Maybe she was trying to, like, slip it in more to be like, this is my catchphrase, I'm gonna say it whenever.
Maybe she started saying it and then had to be like, oh, well, it's already coming out of my mouth, can't go back now.
So it's like a verbal tick, she has to say outrageous sometimes.
Yeah, and like they all automatically decide that they need to figure out how they're going to make this money. And I would again like to point out at this point, like Ba Nee doesn't get to say any of this.
Yeah, Jerica's basically decided, like, no, we're gonna get this experimental eye surgery for this orphan, and maybe not tell her about it.
Surprise!
Yeah, but they canceled all their concert dates, so they could work on the movie. So that's one thing. So they can't get money through that. But Aja finds out, wait a minute, we got Starlight Music. Let's just go to Starlight Music and take money from Starlight Music, like how Jerica wanted to in the first episode.
Hang on, because the way that they introduce this concept is Aja says, we must have half a brain between us. So the observation I made from this was, so either they all have 1/8 of a brain, or Aja and Shayna have 1/4 each, or the half brain was just Aja's all along.
I'm going to assume that Aja's got the half brain.
Yeah,
I mean, no offense
right.
to Shayna, but yeah.
She's not coming up with any ideas in the scene, so Aja and her half of a brain are carrying the weight.
And yeah, they go to Starlight Music, and it's basically deserted. And
yeah, it turns out everyone got fired because Jerica forgot she owned a company.
Yeah, Jerica didn't pay any of the bills. We don't know how long it's been since the Battle of the Bands necessarily, so this is once again the first time they're going to Starlight Music after this is, well, I mean, they went there when Eric got fired that one time, but I guess they haven't been there since.
I guess so. There's some lady named Joni there, and I don't remember if it's her or Jerica that says it, but of Eric, they say, that man specializes in disaster, and I said, no, that's Zipper.
I also want to note that Joni, when she first talked, she sounds exactly like Synergy.
Yeah.
And very vaguely she'll put on a bit of an Irish flair to her words, which is very awkward, like definitely her, putting on an accent basically, but it's clearly Synergy talking.
Oh, let's not get physical.
Synergy's voice actress, let's say.
Yeah. Because considering there are times when Synergy will be actual people.
Right.
I think it's important to draw that distinction.
Right. This is Joni O Synergy.
Yeah, but it turns out all the promotion for the Misfits kind of took a lot of money from Starlight Music, and they decided the best course of action, instead of, telling Eric to pay all the fucking bills that he ran up, it says, we'll pay all of Eric's bills for him, that'll show him.
I have a question about the fact that Starlight Music is basically broke. Do you think, did Eric bankrupt Starlight Music on purpose because he knew he was going to lose the Battle of the Bands?
It's hard to tell, because we also, slightly later in the series, also just get an idea that with the promise of schemes that he thinks are going to work, he tends to spend money a little bit recklessly, perhaps thinking he will get a return that never comes.
That is very true.
It definitely becomes a thing with Eric that, the show acknowledges he is spending his money way too flagrantly.
And that is very true, because, he spent all of Starlight Music's money just to promote the Misfits.
Yeah, but they pay all the bills and then realize they don't really have any money to get out of Starlight Music. And then they said, I guess the only way for us to do this is to finish the movie. And the exchange that goes on briefly there before everyone agrees is basically, in not so many words, we have to finish the movie. No, well then fuck Ba Nee, I guess, huh?
Yeah, Jerrica goes into guilt trip mode really quickly, because the rest of the holograms are like, we're not going to go back to that movie, and then Jerrica goes, well, I guess Bonnie's going to go blind then, and it's going to be your fault.
Yeah, basically. So they do go back, and I would like to point out, Rio was still there.
Yeah, Rio is still on the movie at this point, right?
Yeah, he was there when everyone came back.
Which, that raises a lot of questions.
Maybe he was like an independent contract for the movie, not associated with Jem. They saw him and were like, oh, give me that purple hair.
Do you think that it was basically Rio was just like, well, I'm not technically part of Jem and the Holograms, so I still get paid, right?
I'm ready for my big break. I'm sick of hanging the lights. I didn't go to Lights College for this.
And so they have to go talk to Eric. Well, Jerrica does anyway. Goes to talk to Eric. Eric says holograms at this point, I noticed. Yeah,
I heard that and pretended I didn't and kept going.
And Jem and the Holograms can be let back onto the movie, with the one caveat being Jerrica has to be Eric's assistant, which is going to lead into many fun scenarios like in the last episode where Jem and Jerrica need to be in the same place at the same time.
Yep, I'm glad they don't lean too hard on this, because 2 episodes in a row, it's a little exhausting.
Before they go back onto the set, do their big, hey, we're back kind of thing, I want to note that the coloring is wrong on Kimber, so she is colored exactly like Jem.
Great! Love when that happens.
Like I said, something that Kimber would really love, looking exactly like Jem.
Yeah, and the crew is like, oh, we knew they would be back. And even nice man, mean, horrible actor man Nick is like, oh, maybe Jem isn't that great.
Yeah, Nick Man's kind of being an asshole about it, when I'm sure I would think he would be kind of thrilled that Jem is back.
Yeah, because he's an asshole too. Where does he get off acting like other actors being assholes is a big problem for him.
The exchange should have been that, whatever crew member Nick Man was talking to should have, looked at him after he commented, oh, I knew they'd be back, and be like, fuck you.
Yeah, because you're so perfect.
Go back to acting.
In the next scene, Pizzazz is really upset that Eric let the holograms back on, and it throws a lot of things at him.
She's throwing things, yes. Just an orange bottle, I believe, is the only thing that I saw thrown.
She sounded ready to kill him.
Yes. That was a very short scene, by the way, too. It was, I guess, just so... And it was a good scene, because I like seeing Pizzazz yelling and screaming about things.
Yeah, we need to know that a fire has been lit inside of Pizzazz, and she's going to burn everyone down with her.
But yeah, it's basically she learns that Jem and the Holograms have to do whatever they want, or they're fired, and this just makes her just giddy like a child.
Yep, and in the next scene, Video accidentally, by accidentally I mean it takes her several seconds to realize that what she had said to Clash maybe wasn't such a great idea, but lets Clash know that the reason that Jem and the Holograms came back is so they could do some orphan eye lasers.
Right, and yeah, Video is really kind of slow to... She tells the entire scheme to Clash, and then it's just like, oh, me and my big mouth.
It's like, yeah, great job, Video. Good friend. But the Misfits are very glad to hear that from Clash, because now they're like, we can do anything. Roxy is literally almost like, I'm going to nail them to a cross and peel off their skin.
I have a question here where I'm just noticing, why is there that short scene of Pizzazz throwing shit at Eric, only for them to go back to the set to have Clash learn about why the holograms are back, to have Clash go back to where Eric and the Misfits are to tell them? Why couldn't those be switched around, and Pizzazz could be throwing shit, and then Clash could come in and be like, hey, guess what I heard?
You're asking too many questions. The point is now hell can rain down upon the immortal coil.
Yeah, I guess so. All the Misfits are plotting villainous acts now because they have to, the holograms have to help this orphan. And Stormer's a little concerned because she thinks it might be Ashley.
Oh, you think that's what happens there? That's cute.
Well, I mean, Stormer and Ashley were hanging out, and Stormer very concerned says, well, which little girl?
Aw.
And it's not like she's
a good person.
Not like she met Ba Nee or anything.
That's true, yeah. I think she would probably just care if any of the orphans were going blind.
Yeah, that's true. But, I think she'd especially care if it were Ashley, because God knows Ashley would get into a ton of shit that would lead her to be blind.
Yeah, but luckily, Ashley didn't drink any drain cleaner or anything. Instead, they get over it pretty quickly, and the Misfits are fully prepared to fuck things up.
Raiding a dressing room. Stormer has the magnum burn of, make sure to pack your toothbrushes. And then congratulations starts.
Ow. Yeah.
Kind of an awkward lead into it, but congratulations, which...
That's our song for this week, because it's the best song in this episode.
It is the best song in this episode, which honestly isn't saying much.
Well, no, but I really like congratulations. I don't actually have a lot to say about it, but we'll get to that after we actually play it.
Right, and we'll play that for you right now.
Yeah, and don't forget your toothbrushes. Congratulations, you're on your way out. From here on in, I'll be taking the lead. Congratulations, you're on your way out. I'm bound to win, I was born to succeed. Congratulations to me, congratulations to me. Congratulations! Congratulations, you're on your way down. I've staked my claim and you're taking the fall. Congratulations, you gave up the crown. You lost the game and it's winner take all. Congratulations to me, congratulations to me. Congratulations! You don't stand a chance against the likes of me. Take a backward glance, you'll soon be history. History. Congratulations to all that you say is people saying congratulations to me. Congratulations to me, congratulations to me. Congratulations to me, congratulations to me.
So, my favorite thing about congratulations is that it is, literally just an asshole song.
Yeah, essentially.
It starts out with them being, saying it very sarcastically to Gem and the Holograms, and be like, hey, congratulations, asshole, fuck you. And then it just turns into Pizzazz saying over and over and over again, congratulations to me.
For basically doing nothing as well. The holograms were forced into a position, and Pizzazz is congratulating herself.
I feel like this song is Stormer's caricature of what Pizzazz would be if she were a song.
You're probably right. Yeah, I gotta remember that basically we need to look at all Misfits songs through the scope of Stormer. We need to look at all Hologram songs through the scope of Kimber.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like the part where Gem wins some kind of award, she has a fur coat and a tiara and some flowers, and then Pizzazz shoves her and she gets all that stuff instead, and then all three of the Misfits are doing big lunges on a stage. I wrote down, me too!
Yeah, it's the weird thing, despite the song being, the best song of the week, there's not a lot going on in the video, really. It's just a lot of the Misfits are better than the holograms, but there aren't too many interesting visuals to go along with it.
Yeah, there's not too many drugs happening here, or giantess Pizzazz things, which that's rare. That we see Pizzazz at her normal size in a music video.
Right. Well, the only thing that I wanted to say is they have her, Pizzazz gets up on a camera crane, and it gets, brought up really high. And I'm wondering if that's just that's where the giantess is supposed to be, but we're seeing reality Pizzazz, and that's just how it's going in her mind as she's fucking gigantic at that point.
I don't know. So what you're saying is Pizzazz is like a cat and likes to be in a high place so she could feel better than everyone else around her.
Well, yeah, that's why she got up on the camera crane.
Yeah, that's perfect. Pizzazz is like an asshole cat.
And yeah, I think all of that probably happened. I mean, other than the award show stuff.
Yeah.
The award show image might be the only thing. Other than that, the Misfits being assholes to the holograms definitely all happened.
Yeah, it wasn't, there wasn't too much going on. It was all very quick, very straight to the point, nothing too druggy.
Yeah. What happens next is Kimber's walking back onto set, I guess, and Jeff Stuntman, nice guy, just like, hey, Kimber, you're back. And Kimber doesn't even look at him, just looks straight to Nick and go, hey, did you miss me, Nick?
And he's like, I didn't even notice you were gone. I do need to point out, all of the stupidity of this scene beside, Kimber's like blue and yellow dress covered in flowers that she's wearing is really, really cute. I really like it.
I like the look. Yeah, it's too bad that it's on her in this completely ridiculous scene.
Yeah, where we can't really tell if anything else was supposed to be going on. Jem is also wearing a dress that has like a flower on it, but it's all like that one magenta-y color, so I guess there's supposed to be some kind of theme going on there, but I don't think Kimber was even in the movie scene of the film.
Well, Jeff is used as a lead into the next scene, basically, where he walks away and says, I may as well go talk to the wall, and the camera follows him to where Rio and Jem are, and Rio, in a completely like baffling moment, is just like, phew, Jem, I had a lot of respect for you, but I don't know about this now.
Rio does a lot of, like, oddly extra infuriating things in this episode.
He really does. Really, they should have told him about Ba Nee, because he has no idea why Jem and the Holograms are back. And you think he would, because they're treating Rio like he's some tertiary character and not basically a main character.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, actually. I'm not, Rio Crusader over here, but there's a lack of communication going on. I need to give him credit if I'm going to tear him down.
You might be the farthest thing from a Rio Crusader there is, Kristen.
Yeah, well, it's like, instead I am leading a crusade against Rio.
Right, no, exactly. And just everyone's pissed at everyone is basically, we return to the old dynamic of the last episode where everyone's angry for basically, miscommunication reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And, Pizzazz calls Rio away, to which Jem, turns away and is like, oh, the princess is calling, or Her Majesty or whatever, and Eric needs Jerrica, so Jem doesn't really hide behind anything. She hides behind the thing that faces, like, the set, but there's still complete blank space, like, in the opposite direction where Rio was walking and where Pizzazz is.
Apparently, like, all logic has just been suspended in these past 2 episodes because the, like, reckless abandon that she's changing back and forth between Jerrica and Jem just doesn't make sense.
Every single one in this episode, I believe, there is a almost 100% chance that somebody saw her do it.
Yeah, basically.
I'm going to say.
Eric wants a coffee or something.
Yeah, Eric needs coffee. And then, of course, as soon as Jerrica starts to walk away, Eric is like, all right, I need Jem. Where is she? And so they have to produce a hologram of Jem.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I skipped over something real quick. It's basically nobody knows where Jem is. So Eric says, if Jem's not here in 1 minute, she's fired. And that's the end of segment 1.
At that, I said, because that ended up being a cliffhanger and they made it seem a little bit dramatic, my note for that was, if Jem isn't on set in 1 minute, she's fired. And I said, don't tell me a hologram. They're going to use a hologram to get out of this, aren't they? And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, they solve it very quickly. Between the end of segment 1 and the commercial break that brings back to segment 2, apparently 30 seconds had passed because segment 2 opens with Eric saying that Jem has 30 seconds.
But she's there and a hologram. And the hologram is given stage directions for the scene that they're filming.
Yeah, which thankfully Jerrica's like hiding behind a set listening to the stage direction because I'm sure that she still wants it to be a good, like a well-acted movie.
Mm-hmm. And my favorite thing is Eric talking about how Pizzazz is going to do her entrance looking elegant, very beautiful, and I added in her comic book kablamo dress.
Yeah, I have that she is wearing basically a superhero costume. It
Yeah.
is like an orange dress with like a fucking purple and red starburst in the middle.
It's really weird.
It is very, and she has gloves on, like long gloves that have like flares on the end, kind of.
Elegant and very beautiful.
And super heroic.
Yeah, so they go through the scene where Nick Actorman is macking on Jem in this casino, looks over, sees Pizzazz, leaves Jem, goes over and kisses Pizzazz, and my note for that entire scene was, this silent movie is amazing.
Yeah, this 2 seconds after meeting Pizzazz, the Nick Man character in this movie just kisses her and just dumps Jem, I guess.
Words are not necessary when true love is in the air.
It's really hard for me to string along the plot of this movie from this episode.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit more later. We'll get to that.
We'll see. I think there are like 4 scenes altogether, and none of them have anything to do with each other, basically.
No. So they stop. Nick is just so upset that he had to kiss Pizzazz, which is rude. And Pizzazz gets angry and wants a soda. And I said, when I'm exhausted and mad, I want soda too.
I really enjoyed Pizzazz's delivery of that she wants a soda. I have something to say about the shot, though. Like, Jerrica's leaning against like a roulette table or something when Nick Man is about to kiss her, and I don't think that's allowed in a casino.
Probably not.
And,
what if he's picking up chips from behind her and shoving them down the front of her dress? That's called a casino heist, and those are illegal.
It's fucking Ocean's 11 in this movie.
Yeah, Jem with Ocean's 11.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. The star-studded cast of fucking Holograms 11.
I don't want to think about this. It's making me angry.
But yeah, it's Nick Man kisses Pizzazz. Eric yells cut. Nick Man makes sure to let his disdain for that kiss be known because he just says terrible and walks away. Eric tells Pizzazz she's great, and Pizzazz just very kind of whiny. He's just like, I want a soda, which...
But when characters get upset in this television show, they usually get a soda or a ice cream float. That's the series alcohol.
Jem has to change back into Jerrica again. She does it, I believe, just in the middle of everyone.
Yep.
So needs to go get Pizzazz a soda, and some lady comes over because it's the end of the scene and says, everybody grab your call sheets. Make sure to get your call sheets. And Pizzazz, concocting a brilliant scheme, walks over to Clash and is like, I need you to do something for me because Clash has to do all the Misfits' dirty work now.
Yep. It's a really boring plan that they set up just now with this new information.
Which is, hey, they switched the call sheets around so they don't know where to go the next day.
Oh no!
Surprise.
And Clash puts the actual call sheets in the garbage right in the room that she took them from.
Right, which, I'm not one person to just look in the garbage, but if I looked in the garbage and I saw papers on top that were like, Jem and the Holograms call sheets, I'd be like, oh, what are these doing in here?
When the people that you're sabotaging know that you were actively attempting to sabotage them, you gotta be a little bit more subtle.
Well, they fell hook, line, and sinker for this because even though they all had different stages they needed to go to, basically they're only, they didn't immediately go like, oh shit, the Misfits, I can't believe they got us again. They're like, oh, well, we gotta find the set, so let's go find the set.
This is one of those examples of a problem that we can't have in modern television because cell phones exist now, because if this took place now, they would just call video.
Yeah, they would call video because she still knows where why didn't Clash change videos thing?
I guess she got caught up in the moment. For all we know, maybe she did, and Video was like, nice fucking try, Clash.
Video might not have a call sheet either because she's just a fucking documentarian, so...
That's true. She's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so now we get to Show Me the Way, which is the second song of the evening.
This is another really boring music video.
You call this boring? I think this music video is great.
I like the premise, just since it repeats itself over and over and over again, I'm like, yeah, I get it. They're in the wrong place.
Well, visually, this is definitely a music video that happened because it's the Holograms running around like it's fucking Hanna-Barbera going through the same run cycle. They accidentally run onto the set of a movie that I have labeled here as Laser Crocodile versus Not Ultraman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one. That's the part where the music video got interesting for me, and then I understood what was happening because I started to write a note about it being a montage of trying different doors, and then interrupted my own note with laser eye lizard because all of a sudden there's just a crocodile shooting lasers out of its eyes, and it turns out they're on a movie set. Yeah, they're filming this weird Ultraman versus Crocodile movie, and they ruin a shot. Actually, they run directly into the shot, and the director is so pissed that he starts running after them. Mm-hmm. They do the same thing going through saloon doors, which they should have known in the first place was not where they were supposed to be. The way that Jem falls onto the table in this saloon and the impact in that animation, she was definitely dead.
I wouldn't say dead. She definitely broke something, but yeah, they go through saloon doors.
Paralyzed for life.
Which I definitely have here that why would they think to go on the saloon set, but then again, we learn later that there's a fucking jungle scene in this movie, so...
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
And I also wrote down that if they weren't cannonballing into every single set, they wouldn't be breaking things and making people mad at them.
Very true. Yeah, this is one. I want to know why there are saloon doors up on the second floor that would lead Jem to fall onto like this card table in this Old West saloon.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But that incites a bar fight, or it might be part of the scene. Which, again, Jem ruins.
Who knows?
And the director from the first movie runs through the saloon doors, and then that's the last we see of him, so he just stops chasing them at this point. Because there's still a third movie that they need to go into.
Mm-hmm. But eventually Video shows up, and is just like, what are you guys doing? Come with me.
They're like, get off the Shark Attack set. We gotta get to the actual set.
Mm-hmm.
You stop ruining shots. People are gonna think you're bigger assholes than you really are.
Yeah, they finally show up, and Eric is incredibly angry at them and won't let them explain why they were late, and docks them an entire day's pay, and at some point he's screaming at them so often that I'm like, this seems like grounds to sue Eric. Like this being a professional movie, set.
I definitely have written down here, I don't think it was at this scene in particular, but there was definitely a point where I was like, is Video filming all of this? Because she's the documentarian, and we learn she is, so thankfully, they were smart enough to write that. But yeah, Eric is acting like I know that he has basically full clout to act however he wants around the holograms with this, like with them needing the money, but
it doesn't mean, okay, now you can abuse everyone who works for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just he's power tripping pretty hard.
Yeah, he's just evil up to 11 here. So you know how we were talking about the casino scene before?
Yeah, there was a scene in a casino. Okay, so this must be, some sort of like elegant kind of romance, maybe some kind of noir thing with a casino involved.
Nope, because now they're in a pirate dungeon.
I have written down that the movie became Cutthroat Island all of a sudden because they're in pirate regalia, and all the holograms are trapped in a cage. And the Misfits are just kind of standing around as well.
There's no context whatsoever for what's going on here.
No. So Eric needs Jerrica for, whatever, to hold his script. So Jem in the cage makes a Jerrica hologram, so when Eric throws the script backwards, it flies through her body, which...
It's funny because, 2 episodes ago, when Malone smashed that computer, it was definitely solid. I'm just saying.
I didn't even think of that. That's a very good point, as well as the fact that every single crew member probably could have seen this happen.
Yeah, there's no law here. All reason is suspended, because it's the movies, hey!
Yeah, hey, not to mention one of the guys in the background when the Jerrica hologram appeared looked like his line of sight was going directly towards where Jerrica appeared. And, I mean, he's just a background character, so it doesn't matter. But, so Jerrica is now faced with the problem where a hologram can't pick up a script. So, oh god, what are we gonna do?
Aja, who is just batting 1,000 this episode when it comes to ideas, decides to go over to Pizzazz and neg her. Says, hey, I think Jem's in 2 more scenes than you, and Pizzazz explodes.
Yeah, she screams that she wants Jem out of the scene. And I gotta say, this might be me looking very into this, but I like how Eric's reaction of just, his butt is so, pained that he knows that this is some kind of scene where if Jem's not in the shot, it's gonna be a fucking gigantic continuity error. And
I'm an artist, goddammit.
and it's fucking infringing on his artistic rights or something.
But nope, gotta go.
Yep, she's out of the shot. And the shot that they do shoot, it's just a bunch of pirate people kind of fighting, Rio and Nick Man among them, I think.
Oh, and no one says thanks to Aja.
That too, yeah. It's just kind of they thank video later, or at least they revel in how smart video is. But yeah, nobody wants to give Aja any credit this episode.
No wonder she gets angry sometimes.
No wonder she wants to punch people occasionally.
At some point, Jerrica calls someone Buster, which is a sick burn.
She calls Rio Buster.
Oh, okay. Do we want to talk about that conversation?
Yeah, because at this point, Jerrica turns back into normal, hands the script to Eric, and basically, I don't remember what exactly comes next, but Jerrica's just kind of hanging out, and Rio walks over, and he, with fucking Mr. High and Mighty Asshole over here, is just like, you know what, Jerrica, I've been giving a lot of thought to it, and Jem is not worth my time.
Yeah, that's a really great way to phrase saying that to your girlfriend, whom you have been basically cheating on with herself.
Rio's just basically letting Jerrica know that, hey, I'm not in love with Jem anymore. It's cool.
I think she's sort of a scumbag person. And me being a person of such integrity.
Yeah, me being Mr. Goddamn High Horse. Jerrica gets a little too angry here, I think, but she definitely gets fucking angry because she does call Rio Buster and tells him right now about Ba Nee's operation, which apparently just forgot to tell him about.
Yeah, and the thing is that you seem like that should be a bigger revelation for him not knowing and us talking about how he should have known by now. But I guess he doesn't for dramatic tension or something. And he doesn't really react to that news, and it doesn't seem to change his opinion of Jem very much.
No, he doesn't, because when Jerrica walks away, he just kind of has his hand on his head and he goes, "Damn, what did I say?"
Yeah, great job, really being sensitive there, Rio.
Yeah, really. So we get to the next scene, and it's Nick Man and Jerrica have to run across a tree suspended on a thing in the jungle.
Sure.
Which presumably, I guess they're gonna CGI or matte painting a river in under it or something.
It's at this point where I am saying to myself, I am pretty sure this movie doesn't make sense.
So, yeah, Eric explains the scene, and Nick Man has the reaction of oh, wait a minute, I'll let Jeff do the stunt for this one, as if Jeff wasn't gonna do the stunt anyway, because it's clearly a very dangerous thing.
And so Jem's like, so I get to stunt double, right? and they don't seem to have one for her, which is interesting. Kimber has one. I don't know. Like later, maybe after this incident, they're like, oh, okay, so I guess we shouldn't let the pop stars do their own stunts.
Well, Eric offers the ultimatum of you can have a stunt double if it comes out of your pay. So maybe
I don't think that's how that works.
Maybe Kimber was just like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to die, so you can, take it out of my pay.
I don't think that's how that works, but it's a cartoon, so
not only that, but Jem in a huff like climbs up the ladder to this thing that's suspended like way high, like really, really high for almost no reason.
I appreciate that her costume doesn't have heels, at least.
That was one thing I wanted to ask, because yeah, she's running on basically a fucking rounded surface in heels, basically at one point.
Yeah, no, at least when she's climbing the ladder, there definitely aren't visible heels on her shoes.
All right, very good. But yeah, so she's up there and she says that she's ready to film, and Stuntman Jeff comes over and he's like, well, wait a minute, there's no net here, there's no fall bag, how do you expect me to do this? I might die if, something goes wrong. Eric doesn't care, basically, is the short answer.
Wants to watch the world burn.
The cinematographer is a man who really loves safety, much like Jeff Stuntman, and is like, well, I'm not going to film if there's no, proper safety measures taken.
Eric goes, no, fuck it, go!
Eric fires him and then gets behind the camera and starts filming, despite the fact that Jeff is supposed to be in this scene, by the way.
He does not give a shit. He just wants to see Jem die.
For some reason, Jem goes along with it and isn't even just like, oh, wait, shouldn't I wait for Jeff? So she starts, like, running across this fucking log thing.
Turns out it's made of like paper mache with chicken wire that was purposely cut in half in the middle because it breaks. If it has a mesh on the inside, it shouldn't do that.
This is a fucking professionally built set, and it breaks the first time somebody tries to run across it.
A 90-pound woman.
And yeah, she is in a very precarious position. She looks like she's gonna die. Rio at one point started to go up the ladder when Jem was about to cross. For some reason, like maybe you might ruin the shot if you do that, Rio. What are you doing? And once he gets to the top, after like everything caves in, he delivers a very, very flat like how could this have been the best line read you got out of him? Of no, Jem, don't.
No, Jem, don't. It's because he doesn't love her anymore.
That's true. He's half-hearted, even though he climbed up there and
that's reality.
Rescues her in literally 2 seconds. He's, I guess, conflicted.
Yeah, he swings over on a vine that's so skinny it's basically string.
Yeah, but that's we come back in segment 3 where I wanted to say before when they were having the conversation, Eric and the cinematographer, there's a shot of video filming this, which, like I said, thank you that they put that in there so they could fucking sue the motherfuck.
Video is filming what is about to happen like she knows a crime is about to be committed. And she was like, oh, we're going to need this film later.
Well, a crime is technically being committed, if you think about it.
Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, they swing across, and Rio smooches Jem where Jerica could conceivably see it happen.
I wanted to also mention that when it came back for segment 3, it's the exact same shot of video holding the camera from before, which good use of footage there. But yeah, I don't know as well, like there's definitely spacing issues of like this whole vine swing rescue.
Yeah, there's like momentum issues. And again, it was like
at one point Jem looks like
string.
Jem looks like she's like way too far up in one shot and then way too far down to where the arc would never like work. Like Rio would hit the fucking base of the set basically.
But it works, and Rio is Errol Flynn.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that he could have been kissing Jem literally directly in front of Jerica, technically.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
And yeah, fucking Jeff compares him to Errol Flynn, which whatever. Yeah, timely reference that the kids will totally get in the 1990s.
Boom!
Video makes sure to label the videotape Jem's accident, which
I guess since we know she's being unsubtle on purpose, it makes it a little more forgivable.
It does. I definitely when I first saw it, because I had forgotten that happens, I was just like, Video, what are you doing? She's gonna try to fucking erase the tape now or destroy it.
I wrote Video can't be subtle no matter how hard she tries.
Clash guarantees that she'll take care of the tape because somehow Eric and the Misfits find out about it by just seeing it, I think. Yeah, this is all part of Video's plan, so I don't think it really matters anyway. But Clash's big plan, it isn't a fucking... Clash is doing very simple things in this episode and making it seem like big deals because she just goes to the editing room and asks for a magnetic tape eraser.
And she calls an editor a nerd.
A nerd, yeah, and he fires back with just make sure you bring it back on time, so...
and she's not going to. She left with it.
Stay beta, you fucking editor nerd. So Clash, comes in and erases the tape, and Jem and Rio are there, and they are just, because they're hiding behind a curtain, and they're like, oh no, she erased the tape. Video, what are you doing? Video goes over, removes the label. Haha, it's a Misfits tape. It was a Misfits tape all along.
Very clever Video.
Yeah,
So
Video, you sly dog.
she's a little bit more wise to Clash's antics being related to her. You can tell this is something that Video has had to do her entire life.
Every single family gathering, fucking symbol bracelets.
Oh,
The worst.
This is a video labeled Clash. I'm gonna label it Video. Nice job, Clash. You erased your own fucking video.
Yeah, I'm not certain. Video just says it's the Misfits tape, so I don't know what was even on it.
Whatever that means. They don't talk about it later, so.
Yeah, and Jeff is like, well, good. Now that we have this, I could show it to the union, and we could get the production shut down. To which Jem is like, oh, wait a minute. Don't want to do that. Rio, rightfully, is like, you almost fucking died just now.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerica, or Jem, plays it off as just like, oh no, it was just like an accident. And Rio has to become an ass about it. And
he's like, I thought you had brains. And he's like, I thought I wasn't worth your time.
Yeah,
and
both of them.
Women!
Both of them have to be asses to each other. And then Rio raises the stakes by going, women, and then rolling his eyes.
Great job, Rio. That really reels them in. As a woman, I can tell you.
That is exactly what you want to tell women, is going, women, and then rolling your eyes.
I love being condescended to.
So that was the end of that scene. We just go back to Starlight Mansion now, and we learn that Kimber still has her scene with Nick, even though that was supposed to be like leverage that Eric was trying to use for Kimber, right?
Yeah, I guess he forgot, since Kimber was involved with it, so.
Yeah, I guess so. And
He
everybody
just looked at his
forgets.
schedule and went, oh shit, I wrote that down, didn't I? Well, I guess, it's already set up, we might as well do it.
It's surprising that the scene was even filmed, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's wearing this terrible yellow dress, like a really bad yellow. Like a really bad yellow. And we basically have kind of we're retreading old ground of the scene before, where the holograms are even like, fucking Jerica, you nearly died today. And Jerica, being the fucking asshole that she is, immediately goes, well, Bonnie can be blind then, and it'll be your fault.
Yep. So she's like, forget you guys, I'm gonna go hang out with Bonnie. And she goes into Bonnie's room, and Bonnie appears to be reading a book that she can't see.
She's not only that, she's reading a book in the dark, by the way.
Yeah.
So and she's holding it very close to her
going,
face.
oh, I remember what words look like.
She doesn't even recognize. She doesn't even recognize Jerica as she walks in. And
how many people live in this? Like, how many adult women are in this house? And she's like, who is it?
It could have been what's her face, Kitchen Wench.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't sound like Jerica.
But yeah, so Jerica promises Ba Nee that they're gonna get that surgery. I don't know why you do that, because one, it might not even work, and two, they gotta live through hell right now, basically, and one of them might die.
You know what? Ba Nee is psyched to have laser eyes. So she's all ready for it, and if Bonnie's okay with it, then sure, why not? 8-year-olds can make good decisions.
Yeah, laser eyes. I get to be Cyclops. It'll be great.
So we have our reminder of our little blind angel Ba Nee, and we're back to the abusive movie. What's going on here? Is the motorcycles?
Yeah, now we're out in basically like a field or like plains or something, like a rocky area with motorcycles. And this is going to be Kimber's big scene, basically. Nick doesn't give a shit about anybody, basically, because Kimber goes up to him and is like, hey, I'd love to have, I'm happy to have this scene with you today. And then a fan comes over, and my question is, who let this fan on set, first of all?
Yeah, she was just hanging out in the desert, biding her time.
And she asks for Nick's autograph, and he says no. He says it a bit harsher than no, but she runs away crying, basically.
Basically.
And
as
Kimber,
if we needed more evidence that he was not a nice person.
Yeah, Kimber walks away, just dejected.
She writes the next song. Love is doing it to me.
In her head, she's like bathed in light as it happens, which is really weird. And there's like
that really confused me. I was like, is she dying? Is she going into Kimber heaven? Because Kimber doesn't go to regular heaven. She has her own little section, so no one else has to deal with her.
And there's one of those like stock sound effects. Like I couldn't try to reproduce it, but it's like as the light is coming in, and it's really weird. But it transitions right into song number 3, which is "Love Is Doing It to Me," which shows off, I guess, the love trouble that everybody's having.
I wrote a little. My first note for this is, oh wow, a song about love triangles. This is unfamiliar territory.
Not only that, Kristen, but there is a lovely visual of Jem, Jerica, and Rio standing on a triangle.
It's symbolism.
Like at all the opposite points of a triangle.
It's symbolism.
It's a love triangle, Kristen. Do you get it?
It's symbolism. No, Joe, I don't get it. And Anthony is there.
Yeah, they're flying in a light cage in space for some reasons. I guess, love is imprisonment or something with this. And then, then there's most of this, a good amount of this music video is dedicated to Anthony Julian and Shayna.
Sure, I don't remember him being in any other music videos, so this was surprising.
Considering he didn't even make it into Twilight in Paris, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, and he hasn't been in this episode either. But yeah, he's there reminding us that he exists, and to remind us also that everyone is in a heteronormative relationship except Aja. Or at least has a love interest of that kind.
I made sure to write down that everybody has a special friend except Aja, because when it comes to Aja, it does like a weird roulette, or like a weird slot machine thing in the background of the various love interests.
Hello, Aja, have you ever considered polyamory?
And there's a faceless man with like chocolates and flowers that we don't get to see.
And there's also a Powerpuff Girls heart at some point.
There is, yeah, you're right. And once again, there's not a lot going on visually with the songs this episode, honestly.
Yeah, it's very simple stuff, I guess, to fit in all of the actual plot things happening, because there is a lot of plot going on.
Yeah, it seems like the songs aren't very long, so I don't know. It's because even in shorter songs that could fit in like interesting or weird stuff. And I mean, I guess, Anthony Julian on a Pegasus is weird, but you can only say so much about it.
Yeah. It kind of sums it up there. We don't have anything extra to add except, hi, like, Anthony, bye.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, back to reality, which that definitely didn't happen, because fucking space cages and Gem and Jerica and the same thing, and Anthony Julian out of nowhere.
Faceless men.
Yeah, faceless men. Kimber finally says one word to Jeff because she bumps into him because she's having some concerns about her scene. And
chalk went up for the nice guys.
Yeah, Jeff is, telling Kimber all about how the scene works. And I gotta say, one thing I really like about this episode is they do a lot to, they could really like half-ass it with like movie production kind of episodes, but they really go into like, the stuntman has a net and a fall bag and shit, and here's the explosions guy, and we have a set path that we go through. Like, we're telling you the secrets behind the movies, basically.
Filling all that time. But yeah, it is nice because usually just be like, oh, stunt, whatever, they're immune to explosions, so they're fine.
Yeah.
Experts.
We're introduced to Pam, which is Kimber's stunt double. I believe Pam is her name, because they say it once, but it's a woman with black hair that wears a helmet that has Kimber hair coming out of the back of it.
Fantastic.
I don't even think we're going to see her ever again either, so...
I kind of hope that I've just forgotten she is in the next episode, but for her one appearance, she knocked it out of the park.
I'd really like her only appearance to be her putting on a helmet that has Kimber's hair on the back of it.
Yep.
Like coming out of the back of it. But Kimber is slightly concerned for Jeff, basically, because it's like, oh no, you gotta drive through the explosions, and Jeff doesn't really care because it's his job. Yep. But even then, Jeff's like, hey, how about a kiss for good luck? And I was like, whoa, Jeff, ooh, you're being a little fresh here. But
I guess that's a way for her to have an out and be like, well, no, thank you, but good luck.
Yeah, no.
There are more aggressive ways to do that, so I like Jeff, so smooth.
No,
I
know
his
that.
fun compared to Anthony Julian.
Very true, who just, grabbed Shayna by the chin and said, yeah, you're beautiful.
Yeah, that's these are kids here. Let's go slow.
But Kimber doesn't really care anyway.
No talk about making love in this episode.
Kimber kisses him anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yep, so it goes fine.
Now, I have written here, because we see Nick on a motorcycle that doesn't have a front wheel, and I thought that was an animation error at first. But
I figure it's just a fake motorcycle that they were filming him from like the shoulders up on.
Yeah, it took me way too long to realize that too, because like I noticed it in multiple shots, and then by the end I was like, oh, it's a prop motorcycle.
Yeah,
which,
see, movie production again.
Once again, that would have been something where I feel like in a normal kind of cartoon about, filming a movie, they just have a normal motorcycle there and not a prop motorcycle.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
Roxy's hanging out at Jeff's motorcycle, and then
she sexually assaults him.
Yeah, she is not smooth at all because she forces herself on Jeff and kisses him. To which, I mean, Jeff takes his time before he pushes her off, but he's still like,
"Please don't do that."
Yeah,
I didn't ask for that.
I mean, he's still snarky about it because she says, "Here's a kiss for good luck," and he says, "I've got all the luck I need, thank you."
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that as Roxy then walks off her rejection with Pizzazz and Stormer and Clash, they turn into like the OG girl squad, and they're all saying like, "Oh, what a scumbag!" So they support each other even if they were in the wrong there.
Right. Yeah, and I'd also like to make a point that Stormer is like behind everybody for some reason, so I guess Clash is more of a misfit than Stormer now. But she walks into frame, and then it cuts to like a close up of like Roxy and Pizzazz, or just two of them, and then it cuts back to like a wide shot of all of them, and Stormer isn't there anymore. And before the shot ends, Stormer walks back into frame, but still doesn't say anything.
It's going great. It's just fantastic.
And Kimber has to do her scene, which is just basically her avoiding explosions and jumping onto a motorcycle, which I still feel, I mean, they said it was safe, but I still feel kind of like this is a thing that a stunt woman should do, probably.
I guess so. You know, it can't all be realistic.
Yeah, that's true. But, so Roxy, now to get her revenge, because apparently this is all Kimber's fault, which they commented before that Kimber fawning all over Nick Man was disgusting, but now they're angry at Kimber because she kissed Jeff.
Yeah. I have written down here what Roxy says boils down to basically, I have a plan, let's murder Kimber.
I've got written down here that Clash fucks with the Explosion Man, who's in charge of the explosions, and sets it off, just so Roxy can kill Kimber because Jeff isn't interested in her.
Yep.
And that's where everything ends. It's the explosions go off a little too early, and Kimber gets fucking jostled aside, and then she's on her stomach, like reaching up, like, Nick, help! And Nick is just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, forget this. Joe, can I tell you what my last note for this episode was?
Kimber screaming,
Nope. This is a familiar one at this point, and I think this is gonna turn into a theme for me. Through all those explosions, then Kimber loses a leg and has a peg leg for the rest of the series.
That's the other thing. For these are some pretty tame explosions because they're all going off around her, but she doesn't seem terribly hurt by any of them.
I think she's probably more scared than anything.
Oh, well, that's true, because who wouldn't be at that point?
Yeah.
I know I'd be screaming for the help of my hunky action star man.
Yep. Wouldn't we all?
And we get the to be continued and a motorcycle sound for some reason. It kind of gives away what happens in the next episode.
Jeff's gonna save her with his motorcycle.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, I haven't watched the next episode in a really long time, and I know that's what's gonna happen.
Well, like I said, the motorcycle sound kind of gives it away.
Yeah, also, it's a predictable cartoon for children.
That too, yeah, because why would Kimber die or have a peg leg?
Because they're afraid to take risks.
I want a cartoon with a peg leg, damn it. Give me a girl with a peg leg.
Peg leg, Kimber, Hook and Rio. In my spin-off, nobody cares about either of you.
First of all, the Hook Hand for Rio would have been perfect for Starbright. Let's be honest.
For real!
For the pirate scene.
If he actually had, like, a prop hook hand in this episode, then I think I would have died.
I don't think there were too many close-ups. Oh, no, wait, because he does save her in the pirate gear. I was going to say, I only remember Rio in, like, the really wide shot of all the people swashbuckling, and you can only tell it was Rio by his purple hair.
Yep.
So thank goodness for an uncommon hair color.
It's the anime rule. Main character's got to look interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And Rio doesn't look interesting. He just looks like an ass.
Yep. Purple hair. Purple stubble.
But anyway, that's it. That was the end of the episode. To be continued. Everybody prepare the funeral procession because Kimber's dead. And the hospital bills alone are going to be more than Ba Nee's eye surgery. So once again, Kimber is stealing the thunder from an orphan.
Yep. So good job.
That was part 2, Colliding Stars. I don't know did we say it was Colliding Stars? It's Starbright Part 2, Colliding Stars. And I have a bit of a bone to pick with this because Colliding Stars probably would have worked better for the first episode.
Yeah, because it was, Pizzazz and Jem basically going head to head.
Yeah, pretty much. And Falling Stars would have worked better for this one because Jem literally falls.
Off of a terrible prop log.
And the only reason that they had to put it like that was because, Jem says, oh, you're a falling star last episode. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I hope the next episode is called Peg Leg Star.
Rising Peg Leg.
Rising Peg Leg.
I think just when it boils down to it, Jem's just angry about universal appeal. And probably for the rest of the series.
Yep. She's never going to get that stick out of her butt. You're never going to get that peg leg out of her butt. I will stop talking about peg legs. I don't want
peg legs anywhere near my butt. Let me just, we'll move on here. Now is the point in the evening where I list off all of our fun contact things to reach the show and us. You can follow us on Twitter at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus, AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me on Twitter at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark.
You can find us on iTunes, which is a real thing. You can find us on SoundCloud, which is our main thing. And you can find us on Stitcher Radio, which is an actual thing. You can send us an email at cwtapod@gmail.com. You can tell us about your first podcast experience. Or, if a notebook ever flew through your hologram body. Or petty revenge plots. Or things like that.
Oh, wouldn't that be the worst?
Man, I remember this time, man, where this lady took a guy that I was trying to kiss on, so I exploded her.
Yep. Well, it happens to all of us.
It happens to the best of us. Really, Roxy is the person that I identify most with due to the fact that I can't read.
Yeah. It was very brave of you to put that out in the open, Joe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us about your own illiteracy, if you can type or if you can read. I don't know.
Now we're just getting into territory where I'm like, we're gonna make someone upset.
All right, no, yeah, I'll just move on here. The episode, I know I had said last episode that I assumed this would be like The Empire Strikes Back, where it would be the lowest point. That didn't really happen. You know, nobody got their hand cut off or anything. Rio could have had a hook hand, but he didn't. Next episode, they finished the movie, which is, it's the final part of our trilogy here. So it's probably The Return of the Jedi then, right?
Yes, says me, who knows a lot about Star Wars, of course.
We'll just say that Kitchen Wench is the Darth Vader allegory, and the holograms give her a Viking funeral, and that'll be the...
That's very touching.
Goodbye character that we never see again. What was her name? Kitchen Wench, whatever.
Pull back the string, pop that arrow straight into that boat.
And there it is. She's gone. Happy
That
trails
beautiful
to thee.
flame. She burned as bright during her own days. Look at her off in the distance. Everyone wave.
When she told Jericho about Ba Nee's eyes, oh, how much life she had in her own eyes, and now they are on fire.
And, like, with the rest of her body, because the entire thing catches on fire. Because the boat is full of like hay, so it all catches fire very quick. And the boat is wooden too.
Is that a proper Viking funeral, the boat one? Because I had assumed that a Viking funeral was where they make like the like the square with the wood, and they put the guy on top and just light the entire thing on fire.
I guess I just always assumed that a boat was involved.
I know that kind of thing is a thing too, where you put him on a boat and then you light it on fire as you send it out to sea.
I know in Game of Thrones, when Catelyn Stark's father dies, they put him in a boat and light him on fire.
That's basically what I assumed you were referencing, and I'm referencing the king guy in the one Lord of the Rings. I think it was in Return of the King, somebody gets a funeral like that.
You were bringing up two very popular series. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and I'm just sitting here like, yes, pretend you know exactly what he's talking about.
Well, you know, whatever. We'll end it now. Next episode is Starbright Part 3, Rising Star, which I assume will be Kimber rising from the ashes of exploded Motorcycle Mountain and, you know, being a whiny teenage phoenix, basically.
Yeah, that's basically what she already is.
That's true. She's very red anyway, so she's a very whiny teenage phoenix. And I, for one, I welcome this new fiery doom that we are all...
When she calls, she goes, outrageous!
Well, I guess that's that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll end it there. I'm Joe.
I'm Kristen.
And we will see you next time, where we will talk about more Gem.
Bye-bye.